Hello everybody, Heather from New Zealand here today. We're on day 16 and today we're going to talk about ways to take a break and at the same time inspire yourself to keep going. So if that sounds like it would help you, then keep watching. And we're also going to talk a little bit about other family members in the Flylady. How can we get them on board maybe? What's the best tactics to use? Keep watching and we'll start into day 16. Hi everybody, I just had to share this before we started. As I said, it's spring here in New Zealand as I'm recording these videos. It's a bit of a chilly morning. I've wrapped up warm, but my roses are out and it is just heaven to me. I love having flowers that I've grown myself around me inside my house. It just brings such joy. And also, you know, it's roses, so the more flowers you cut, the more flowers you get. So that was just something little I wanted to share with you this morning. I'll put those out the way because knowing me, I'll knock them over in the middle of everything. Okay, so we're on to day 16, and on day 16 the Flylady suggests that you go onto her website and read some of the stories from people there who have used the Flylady system and the experiences that they've had. And, you know, I mean, it's always good to get encouragement and inspiration from others who have gone ahead of you and have done this process, and hear some of the benefits that they have gained from doing this Flylady system. Sometimes, I mean, I've found within these 31 days, you know, you have ups and downs and your enthusiasm peaks and wanes, and you really want to get through those 31 days. So you want to look at ways of supporting that, and reading some of those stories is well worthwhile. I believe well worthwhile. Something else I wanted to talk to you about is when I started doing this. And I saw how effective it was, I started to feel a bit cross with myself really for the time I've wasted. When I started decluttering, I realized that, you know, there were lots of things that I've bought that maybe really were a waste of money, and I got a bit cross about the money I'd wasted. And yeah, there can be issues that come up while you're working through this process, and how do we handle that? How do we look after ourselves when those things come up? I think the first and most important thing is to acknowledge that you're feeling it. It's okay to say, look, I've done whatever it might be and I didn't do it how I would do it now. Maybe you've bought things at a second-hand shop and you got them home and realised actually away from the shop it just looks like junk that needs to go back to the second-hand shop. But you thought it would work really well. It's okay to say, look, I bought this and it was a mistake and I need to get rid of it now, let it go, rather than hanging on to it because, you know, you think, well, I spent good money on that. So when you're decluttering, you know, don't suppress those feelings, but come up and say, okay, I've made a mistake here, I'm going to move on. Obviously, it's easy to get those things out of your life, and you may be able to sell them, I don't know, or you maybe just donate them to charity, but don't hold on to the feelings that are attached to them. The other thing is about, you know, time you've wasted. You know, I'm still working out how to keep my house clean. I mean, I should know this by now. You know, these are all thoughts that come up, and they are thoughts that can potentially sabotage us if we don't acknowledge them and don't move through them. If we stay stuck there, we won't be able to move forward in our lives with this. So hopefully reading some of those stories on the Flylady website, you might hear some of the things that other people have gone through that may ring a bell for you, and that will inspire you to keep going. I'm not sure, you know, what your circumstances are. You may be like me. I have a husband at home and a youngest daughter who is 12. She's still at home. I have 2 grown-up kids, so I still have people at home who I'm looking after. Still have family members here. I don't know, you may have little kids at home, and life may be very busy and full on. You may be retired. You may be living by yourself. I don't know what your situation is. You may have a very large family in your house. But the question comes up, what about family in the Flylady system? Because you're in the process of retraining yourselves. What about training those other members of the family? And I think that this, for most people, this comes up pretty early in the piece, because the first step is to shine your sink. Now, if everybody else is dumping in that sink, it can get pretty frustrating. And, you know, how can we get people to make their beds? How can we get them to give us their laundry, you know, straight away, and so we can do a laundry load every day? You know, all those different things. How can we get them on board with us rather than working against us? This is a tricky question, and it's going to be different for everybody. But I think there is an underlying theme, and that is that you can't teach what you don't know. If you haven't, and I've fallen into this trap because I've put my family off Flylady in a big way. When I first started it, I was like, you're joining me, come hell or high water, we're doing this together. Again, my 100% thing, let's do it perfectly, everybody has to be on board. Anyway, that didn't work out so well, so I'm suggesting you don't start that idea. I think what you need to do, especially initially, is to do Flylady for you. This is about you and your habits. Now, when you have got a bit more of a base, when people around you see that you're doing things differently, that things are changing, that you've got a bit more free time, that the house is looking a bit cleaner, they start to enjoy that, those aspects of it, then maybe they're more likely to jump on board. But I think at these beginning stages, please don't try to become an evangelist for Flylady, because the process is about you and changing your habits and teaching others Flylady and getting the rest of the family members on board. That's something that maybe you could look at later, but please don't sabotage your own attempts to do this for yourself by trying to get the family to do it as well. It's too big a task, especially at first. So those are my thoughts on that side of things. I'll keep it short for today because there's not much extra. We're not adding something new to our control journal. I just encourage you to keep on going. Keep doing those steps every day. It's only through repetition of these habits that they will become a habit. I remember somebody said to me, practice, practice, practice until it becomes your practice. And that's what we're doing here. We're practicing these habits time and time again, and after a while you won't need the control journal in the same way that you do now, because it will have become your practice. It'll become your habit. You'll be on autopilot, and woohoo, your morning routine will be done, and woohoo, your bed routine will be done. That takes time. That takes building up day after day after day, doing the same thing. So good luck on day 16. Enjoy the website. One thought though before I go: essential for today's mission is your timer. Do not go on the web without your timer. Put 15 minutes on it. Grab your cup of coffee or your glass of wine or cup of tea, whatever you're going to do. Have a look on that website. When the timer goes, stop. And I'll see you tomorrow on day 17.